Good old Baskin-Robbins. Have you ever driven by one of them or been inside, looking around going, I wonder how much one of these make? I wonder what it would be like to own one of these locations and how much does it cost to get open? And so that's exactly what we're going to dive into in this video. We're going to talk about Baskin-Robbins. We're going to break down their startup costs. We're going to break down how much money their franchisees are making and really work to answer the question of, is this a good investment? Let's jump in. If you're new here, my name is Tarek Johnson. I am the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, where we have helped hundreds of people find, vet, buy, and launch proven money-making franchises. And today, we're talking about a classic. Good old Baskin-Robbins. 31 flavors, ice cream for every mood. I'm curious, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? I wonder, can you guess what my favorite flavor of ice cream is? Drop some comments in below. If you get it right, we're going to send you some swag. You can get the Franchise Empire Franchise Millionaire Cup. We have hats. We have t-shirts. We got all sorts of other cool swag. You can pick. We're going to choose a winner if you can get it right. What is my favorite flavor of ice cream? All right, hint, it's different than my wife's. Not that you know what hers is, but all right. So let's dive into it. Before we dive into startup costs and the sales in terms of how much money the franchisees are making, let's dive a little bit into the history about the brand, how they got to where they are today. So Baskin-Robbins was founded in 1948, guys, 1948. So wild that they've been around that long. When brothers-in-law, Bert Baskin and Irv Robbins, those are some funny names, guys. I'm not going to lie. Those are some really interesting names. And this comes from a guy whose name is Tarek. So, you know what? I don't even want to hear it. But combine their own ice cream shops into one brand. And both men believe that ice cream should be more than vanilla and chocolate. They wanted to bring fun and creativity and endless choices to dessert, which I think many of us are quite grateful for that. Nowadays, my goodness, there was this place where we were traveling this past summer, and they put ice cream in these mason jars. And it was this crazy just bomb of all sorts of syrup and nuts and all kinds of crazy stuff, like pretty crazy. But early on, they pioneered the franchise model for ice cream, really, giving entrepreneurs the chance to really own their own shops. And in 1949, just 1 year after launching, they already had over 40 stores open. And they even purchased their own dairy to control production and invent new flavors. Pretty fascinating, guys. You know, this is something that's important, especially depending upon where your entrepreneurial journey takes you, is thinking bigger, right? And some of these companies that we've talked about in these Franchise 500 videos, they made bold moves in order to really own the marketplace. I did a video on Valvoline, and Valvoline was an oil company that produced oil, and then they bought a company to get into the quick lube market. Imagine if they had never done that. They bought, like, Baskin-Robbins buying their own dairy to control the production. That's pretty genius. And just 4 years later, in 1953, they unveiled the 31 concept, a flavor for every day of the month, setting them apart from every other ice cream shop in America. Think about it. Other companies have, whether they get sourced inspiration from that model. Think about Crumble Cookie. Crumble Cookie has their flavor of the week, right? At Franchise Empire, we do franchises of the week. There's something to be said about rolling out different flavors, different concepts on a periodic basis. Just something to think about. And to make the experience fun and interactive, they introduced the pink spoon, encouraging customers to sample flavors before choosing. You guys know someone else who had a pink spoon? Do you remember the frozen yogurt brand, Pinkberry? Interesting, right? Whatever happened to Pinkberry? The whole froyo market just crashed, which is crazy because I actually think frozen yogurt is better than ice cream. Debate me. I'm right, you're wrong. I know that, but I definitely think frozen yogurt is better. And Italian ice is better than both of them. I'm actually not a huge ice cream. I like Italian ice. That's my jam. All right. Over time, they created more than 1,300 flavors, making them one of the most innovative brands in food franchising. And in 2000, check this out, they made it to the book of the Guinness Book of World Records for building the world's largest ice cream scoop pyramid with over 3,100 scoops.
Dai, occhio, che i cinesi a mangiare quante sono?
And so they built an incredible brand, guys. So such an incredible brand. This is when we pivot to the numbers, that they have more than 7,800 locations across the globe. 7,800 locations. Here's another trivia for you. In 1969, Baskin-Robbins created a special flavor to celebrate the moon landing. You know what it was called? I'm guessing it wasn't called moon pie flavor. Do you guys like moon pies? I haven't had a moon pie in probably a good 15 years. Anyways, let us know in the comments below. Just like with the trivia around my favorite ice cream flavor, we will give you some free swag, a mug, a t-shirt, a hat, something cool that is from Franchise Empire. And while you're down there, if you want to grab our list of 42 high-performing franchises, breakdowns of those franchises that could be good investments, then you can click the link below. You can get access to that for free. Now let's talk about some of the numbers. Talk about startup costs. Let's talk about earnings. Startup costs range from $307,000 to $622,000. Now, when we talk about sales, you guys, if you've watched any of our content and videos before, we talk about having the proper sales to investment ratio when looking at buying a franchise. And so with any sort of retail model, you really want to see a 2-to-1 sales to investment ratio. So what does that mean in terms of numbers? Well, if the bottom end is $300,000 to get up and open, and then $622,000 on the high end, you want to see basically average sales between $600,000 to $1.2 million, depending upon what your startup costs are. If we just add the two up, that's about $930,000. So let's call it around $450,000 on average to get your location up and open. So I'd want to see average sales of about $900,000. Let's see in a minute when I go over sales if that's what their numbers are like. Are you as curious as I am? Now, franchise fee. They have a pretty reasonable franchise fee, guys. Their franchise fee is only $25,000 for a Baskin-Robbins. And if you're going to, that's a traditional location. If you're going to open in a gas station or convenience store, $12,500. And if you're going to open in a combo restaurant, it's $10,000. Is it Dunkin' Donuts that they do the combos with? I think Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins, right? They'll have combo stores for that. So if you're opening that along with your Dunkin' Donuts, $10,000 for the franchise fee. Interesting. Royalties, 5.9% of gross sales. Why 5.9? Why not just make it 6, guys? 5.9 is very interesting. There's some other nuances to the royalties that we're not going to cover in this video. Their marketing fee is 5% of gross sales. So it's a pretty high marketing fee. What you'll find is that with a lot of these really well-known brands that do a significant amount of mass marketing, that the marketing fee is pretty significant overall. So let's talk about their sales. So average unit volume, we'll put some of these numbers up on the screen for you as well. Average unit volume for 2024 franchise locations, $532,000. Guys, $532,000. I mean, if the average store is about, or the median is about $450,000 to get up and open, that's basically, let's just, for easy math, let's just call it, that's a 1-to-1 sales to investment ratio. That is not a good sales to investment ratio. They have 844 restaurants. When we break it down into quartile, the average for the first quartile, $822,000. So the top 25% of performers do not even meet the criteria for a 2-to-1 sales to investment ratio. And guys, this is exactly why you will see when people own food franchise brands, you'll see groups that own 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 locations, because the margins are so slim. And when you think about the cost of debt, if you have a 10% profit margin in theory, and then you have a loan payment of, $4,000, $5,000 a month, at the end of the day, what are you producing in cash flow that you can actually take out of the business? This is why there's so many groups that have to own so many food franchise locations. Pretty interesting. Most people just do not know about it. So by the way, if you want, we put together a list of 5 low-cost franchises, low costs that show really good sales to investment ratios and show that the franchisees are making $1 million a year in sales. You can go to franchiseempire.com/low cost, and you can grab that list for free. Hopefully it's helpful for you in your journey. And so when we look at the lowest performing location, did a whopping $11,670 in sales. Highest performing location, $2.3 million in sales. And in their FDD, they also break down sales by region and division. I'm not going to go over that in this video for the sake of time, but pretty interesting to see that overall the Northeast markets perform the worst. So, and they're colder. So that, to me, that makes sense. The top performing region is the West and Pacific area for average sales. So anyways, if you guessed the flavor was called Lunar Cheesecake, you got it right. Lunar Cheesecake was the flavor, which is really interesting. But if you enjoyed these videos and these breakdowns of the most popular franchise brands, how much money they make, how much they cost to get open, are they a good investment? There's a whole playlist right here where you can see all of the other videos that we've made. It's growing and growing each and every day. So go check that out, and we will see you on the next one.